Hey, welcome to the Weekly Wave. Your 20s are marketed as the golden decade of freedom. No kids yet, no mortgage, and supposedly no rules. The message you hear everywhere on Instagram and movies and just random ads that pop on your feed. It's simple. Spend. Spend on nights out, spend on brunches, spend on trips you really can't afford but book anyway because you only live once. Spend on cars that are more for the pictures than the actual vehicle, and clothes that are more costume than they really are comfortable, and apartments that are just more aesthetic than they are affordable. Spend like life is a constant audition for who can look like the happiest online. But here's the thing nobody tells you while you're being sold this glamorous lifestyle. Your 20s are also the most fragile decade financially. It's when you're most vulnerable to debt, most impressionable to trends, and most likely to mistake consumption for your identity. And that's why being frugal in your 20s isn't just smart, it's powerful. It's not about pinching pennies or saying no to fun. It's about planting seeds in soil that's still fresh, seeds that will grow into freedom, stability, and mainly choice for the decades to come. So let's clear something up. Frugality is not the same thing as being cheap. Cheap is about cutting corners. It's about spending less, even if it costs you more in the long run. Cheap is skipping the oil change until your car breaks down. Cheap is buying fast fashion that falls apart in 2 washes. Cheap is tipping badly at restaurants. Frugality, on the other hand, that's more intentional. It's not about avoiding spending entirely. It's about spending in alignment with your values. It's the quiet discipline of asking, does this actually matter to me, before tapping or swiping your card? And this matters way more in your 20s than almost any other decade because time is your multiplier. A dollar you save at 25 isn't just a dollar, it's decades of growth, compound interest, decades of opportunities you've created for yourself. Imagine this. If you save just $200 a month starting at 25, invested it, and never touched it, by 65, you'd have close to $500,000. $500,000. From less than the cost of one dinner out a week. That's the math. But frugality is more than math. It's psychology, it's culture, it's your identity. Take the famous Stanford marshmallow test. Children were given one marshmallow and told they can eat it right away or wait and get 2 later. The kids who waited tended to have better life outcomes in general, better health, better financial stability, better success overall. Your 20s are one big marshmallow test. Do you burn your paycheck now, chasing temporary highs, or do you practice restraint? Delay gratification, and give your future self not just 2 marshmallows, but an entire bakery. The challenge, though, is cultural. Millennials grew up during the Great Recession. Gen Z grew up in a world of crushing student debt and skyrocketing housing costs. But both generations have seen financial systems crumble, job security vanish, and costs of living explode. So it's no surprise that many people in their 20s think, why save? The system's rigged anyway. The YOLO culture of the 2010s, treat yourself memes, $15 avocado toast jokes, and the rise of luxury Instagram aesthetics wasn't just about indulgence. It was a coping mechanism. It was a way of saying, if the future feels uncertain, I might as well just enjoy now. But in response, another movement has grown quietly, the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. Thousands of young people started rejecting the YOLO script. Instead of spending to look more successful, they started saving and aggressively, investing early and living frugally, not to deprive themselves, but to build freedom, to escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle, to buy back their time. And here's the fascinating thing. Both YOLO and FIRE are about the same desire. Damn, that was a bar. Okay. They're both about wanting freedom. The difference is one burns money for it today, and the other saves money for it tomorrow. And being frugal in your 20s doesn't mean saying no to everything. It means saying yes more intentionally. Yes to experiences that genuinely light you up, not ones that just fill an Instagram feed. Yes to trips you'll remember for a lifetime, not ones you'll regret financing at 22% APR. and yes to buying quality once instead of buying cheap over and over and over again. And arguably the most importantly, yes to investing in your health, your skills, and your friendships, the things that compound in value just like money does. So let's talk the social side, because this is where frugality really gets tested. In your 20s, most of the invitations you receive involve spending money. Drinks, dinners, concerts, trips. Saying no can feel kind of like social suicide in a sense. You don't want to be that broke friend, the one who never joins in. But here's a little secret on that. Frugality doesn't mean isolation, it means creativity. When you're frugal, you find new ways to connect. Game nights, potluck, just backyard baseball games, walks in the park. And often, those are the moments that actually stick in your memory. Not the overpriced bar tabs, but the simple times when the connection was real. Frugality doesn't weaken relationships, it strengthens them, because it filters out the ones based only on spending. There's also a deeper confidence that comes with being frugal. Most people spend money to project an image, to look successful or stylish or just desirable. But when you stop relying on purchases to validate you, you find a different kind of self-worth. You realize that you are enough without the designer label, without the luxury car, without the endless cycle of upgrades. And that realization, that quiet inner security, is something money can't buy, but frugality can teach. Of course, frugality isn't about perfection. You're going to splurge sometimes, and it's nice too. You're going to make some mistakes, you'll buy things you regret, or you'll go on a trip that you really couldn't afford at the time, and that's all right. Frugality isn't just a rigid rule book, it's mainly a compass. It's not about denying yourself every indulgence, it's about making sure indulgence is the exception and not the rule. And here's the part that often gets overlooked. Frugality in your 20s isn't permanent. You're not locking yourself into a lifetime of scarcity. You're buying freedom. Every dollar you don't spend on things you don't care about is a dollar that goes towards things that you really do. Future adventures, or maybe a career pivot, future family stability, or even just your peace of mind. Frugality is not about restriction. It's about optionality. It's about giving your future self the power to choose. The greatest irony is this. Being frugal in your 20s often means your life is richer, not poorer. It's richer in peace because you're not drowning in debt. It's richer in freedom because you're not chained to a paycheck. It's richer in relationships because you're not relying on money to define your value. And eventually, richer in wealth too, because you gave your money time to grow. So when you're faced with those moments, the invitation you can't really afford, the impulse to buy something just for the dopamine hit, or that urge to keep up with your peers, just pause. Ask yourself, am I spending for me, or am I spending for the image of me? Am I buying joy, or am I buying noise? Because being frugal isn't about just saying no to life. It's about saying yes to the life you actually want. At the end of the day, your 20s will be remembered for the choices you made and not the receipts that you saved. And if you choose frugality, not scarcity, but intentionality, you'll look back one day and realize you didn't miss out. You just built a life that was bigger than the next night out, and bigger than the next trend, and bigger than the next purchase. Because being frugal in your 20s isn't about saving money. It's about saving yourself. Thank you so much for listening.